What's up, guys? This is James at Lock in the Value, talking to you today about the wonderful world of crypto. We are on a bit of a bearish sentiment in the market at the moment, so everything is sort of trickling down in terms of value, except Zilliqa. Zilliqa still seems to be going pretty strong. It's up again today. So when I talked about it, it was at 0.4 of a cent. Now it's at 17 cents. So it's just shy of a 40x gain. So $100 would have made you $3,996. It's not too bad. Everything is sort of a bit stagnated at the moment in the market. Of the 26 coins, we've only got Grin down. Isn't that ironic? The only thing pissing me off in this spreadsheet is Grin. But the 26 coins, if you'd have invested $100, you'd net profit $28,727. Pretty nice. So Copy My Crypto is live. The link is there in the on the page. What I am doing is sharing my live portfolio. I'm going to be letting people know whenever I make a trade. And whenever I make a trade, I buy. It's usually me cashing out of a position to buy into a new one. The reason being is that I think it's going to have a run. I also will consistently share when I'm taking profits, because if you are not taking profits in this market, you are doing something wrong. You have to bank profits every time you get the opportunity. Yeah, no one is going to sell at the peak of the market. So bank along the way. It makes you sleep better. Trust me. Right, let's get into the market. So, guys, I'll briefly go over it because I'm sure everyone that's watching this at this point has heard the news. Cardano has finally got onto Coinbase Pro. It only took about 4 years. Jesus. But that has resulted in a sort of 20% bump today. If the trend follows, like previously, once it launches on Coinbase Pro, it doesn't take very long to launch on Coinbase. If we see it launch on Coinbase, I expect another really strong rally on Cardano. So we could see it potentially break $2 this month, if basically the moment that it launches on Coinbase. So keep an eye on Twitter, because Coinbase will announce it through their Twitter feed. They usually do, and that will be a big moment. That'll be a big moment. There'll be a lot of new buyers into Cardano at that point, and we should see some significant moves in Cardano. Right, let's get into this. So I want to talk about Phala Network. Now, I will say this: I own Phala, and anyone on Copy My Crypto knows that, obviously. I have, and anyone that got in at the beginning of when Copy My Crypto launched, should be up about 30% on their investment right now, because I think Fala is sitting roughly at 86 cents right now. So that isn't too shabby. I do expect serious moves over the course of the year for Fala. I think it's a great hold, and I'll get into why in a second. But even CoinGecko today, everything's struggling. Right. So firstly, about Fala, right? The team is immense. Okay. The 4 guys that basically were the co-founders have worked at everywhere from Google and Microsoft and Amazon and Apple and Facebook, right? And also Hang Yin was the developer and founder of Bitcoin Gold, which is a Bitcoin you can mine. Not the same thing as Bitcoin, obviously, but he's already shown his skill set in the crypto space. Bitcoin Gold did do quite well when it launched. But yeah, so it's a beast of a team. It's a beast of a team. They founded in 2018, so the Fala's been an ongoing process for a good while. I don't know why that's not working. That's just annoying. Okay, so Fala firstly has a Web3 Foundation grant. That is always good to see, and Gavin Wood is obviously a big influencer in terms of which projects get a Web3 grant. He also follows Fala on Twitter, which bodes well because when we're talking about Fala, we're talking about the potential for a parachain. And he will, and yeah, like I said, so he follows, Gavin Wood follows Fala on Twitter. Fala have a really detailed roadmap in terms of what they're looking to do. And I really recommend people check it out. So if you go onto Medium, you can see what their intention is in terms of the roadmap and the parachain auctions. Excuse me. Now, basically what Fala is a privacy preserving database, decentralized database, obviously. And it has smart contract functionality. So that is what Phala Network actually is. Now, they've got a few different things that they're doing in terms of what they're working on. So at the moment, they've got work with Facebook on their currency, because it's no longer Libra now, is it? It's Diem. Diem? I never heard, no, I'd say it. Diem, yeah. So they're adding, so the Phala Network's basically adding privacy to Facebook transactions. Like, that's one of the big things that they're doing. The other thing is Web3 analytics. So they're working on, basically it's a decentralized version of Google Analytics, where you can sort of pick and choose who you interact with and who you share in terms of companies. So you own your data and you can share with who you want. But it's basically an alternative to Google Analytics, right? But it's decentralized. And you sort of expect that really as well, because a lot of these guys worked for Google and the other companies, so they've seen the problems with those kind of tools, and they've created their own, which fixes the issue of privacy, which is a major issue. Now they've worked with who's it, Carla, and they've shown that they can do cross-chain trading through Kusama, and it stays completely private, which is obviously a great thing. Like, that's what you want. You want it to be private. And I like that. I really do like that. Now, in terms of Fala, there's a few bits to know. So in terms of token economics, there's only about 9%, I think it's 9% that's been allocated to sort of the Parachains loan offerings. So anyone that's participating in that, there's only about 9% of the total supply that's been allocated. But more importantly, the team only took 5% of the whole lot of tokens. And the majority of the tokens that are being issued directly to miners, who can basically keep the ecosystem running. So, the rewards are going to be for people that effectively validate transactions. That's a really good concept, and it keeps the network moving forward. Now, in terms of issues for Fala at the moment, there's only really one that I'm concerned about. They're not even concerned, but there's only one that may mean that the parachain slots are a bit slower, and that's just that their mainnet isn't completely launched at this moment. So this is, I don't know, 17th of March. So they need to get the mainnet sorted, right? At the moment, they're on the pre-mainnet stage, and it's they call it Darth Vader. But once that's up and running, they should be in prime position to get one of those parachain slots. And if you look at the roadmap, and it is really detailed. So where are we? Here. So this is what they're trying to get to. So the mainnet as a parachain. So phase 1 marks the full development of Phala mainnet, same as Kusama. Darth Vader will run for about 5 to 6 months to test and prove all functionalities, and that's what basically is happening at the moment with Darth Vader. Once the mainnet is up and running, a Polkadot, and Kusama Parachain should be on the cards, because Gavin Wood's a huge fan of this project. And even if they don't necessarily land a slot auction, sorry, even if they don't land a Parachain slot in the auctions, there is what is now being referred to as a common good Parachains, which are ones that can be introduced without auction, and they are based on if the Polkadot team or the Kusama team believe that the Parachain can bring an intrinsic value to the ecosystem, in which case they can introduce these Parachain slots. And there's a couple variations of it, but they're not really like one is a system level chain and one's a public utility chain. Now I do believe we're going to see Fala as a parachain, hopefully that is within the second quarter of this year. If we do, that's great because the price will just pump and pump and pump. It's just sort of a waiting game to see in that regard. But Fala, it's at the moment sitting at 88 cents, so that's not too bad. If you look at over the last 2 weeks, it's up about 28%, so that's pretty good. And literally in the last 30 days, it's up 130%. I do expect, obviously there was a bounce for Fala when it landed on Binance and it shot up. But I do think if we look at the market cap right now, it's 156 million, 156.8 million. And the actual circulating supply at the moment is 177 million. Now, I very much expect that if it lands a Parachain slot, it breaks $1 billion in terms of total market cap. Now, based on current circulating supply, that means it only needs that means it only needs to hit about $8, not even, right? $6, sorry, and it breaks $1 billion. And I do think the moment that a Parachain is landed, that's an inevitability because the Parachains just secure your position. It's sort of the moment you've got a Parachain slot on Polkadot, it's almost like the Midas touch. It's going to do well. Look at Kusama. Kusama's growth this year has been staggering. And there's a few like cryptocurrencies and projects that are fighting out for a Parachain slot. But I really do think Fala, even if it doesn't win an auction slot, it's going to be introduced through as a common good Parachain. And again, the moment that happens, there's sort of almost a bit more value to that as well. If the leaders of Polkadot, like if Gavin Wood is saying, look, I want this to be a Parachain because it's intrinsically valuable to these ecosystems, it's a bigger nod to the potential of the project than winning an auction slot. So I'm sort of hoping we see that and we see it go common good Parachain. That happens, it's gonna skyrocket, and it will skyrocket fast. But yes, a quick reminder: I am in on this. This is one of my holdings, and I intend to hold this for a while because I think it's an inevitability this year, and I'm hoping it's going to happen within a couple of months. But we will see, guys. We will see. As always, guys, Copy My Crypto is live. The link is here. I was there. So, like I say, it's going to be live updates whenever I make a trade and it's going to show you my complete portfolio, with justifications for why I hold everything that I do, and in the percentages that I do. That allows you an understanding of why I've balanced my portfolio that way. And then obviously every time I make a trade or cash in profit, I let you guys know. Okay, so please check it out. Links there. Take care of yourselves and stay safe, guys. Bye.